Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, James Timberlake. James is the co-founder of the story Sherpas. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, James Timberlake. James, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
James, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to start the story Sherpas?
Sure. So I've been helping people tell stories for a long time. I grew up in sales and marketing originally, but where it really started was my time with Scribe Media, where I was able to work with entrepreneurs and other mission-based professionals to basically write a book. And so I learned how to turn their life story into a book, and I got to see the impact that book could then make on their business, on their employees, their company culture, and most importantly, the thing that I took from it was the change that the author themselves went through. And so that's what kind of inspired myself and a few of the people that I met along the way there to try to recreate that experience for the average person, because there was so much benefit from going through the process of writing your story, telling your story, and really doing that self-examination that comes along with that process. And everybody who's gone through the process, they've all had a positive experience of growth, completely separate from whatever their goals for the book itself actually were. So so that was so inspiring that I just wanted as many people as possible to be able to do that. And so that's how we kind of had the idea, and then we just worked from there.
You may have noticed I'm also an author. I can relate to this one. It's very, very important. So, James, what are the top 3 mistakes to avoid when you're coming up with your story, writing a book, leaving a legacy for your business or family or something? What's the top 3 mistakes people do, which we can avoid?
Yeah. So I don't know how many of these will resonate with you, but the 3 common ones I see the most, at least, is coming in trying to write the book they think will sell, right? Oh, I want to sell 1 million copies. I want to be on Oprah. I want whatever. It's the wrong focus usually, because then they end up writing a book they think somebody wants to read instead of writing the book that they need to write, the book that actually talks about their struggles, about what they did, what they overcame. Those are the books that resonate with readers. Those are the books that end up doing better, right? And helping you reach your goals. And so that's by far the number one thing, is coming in with the wrong desire, wrong expectation. Probably the second one is thinking that you can just do it yourself. Some people can, obviously, a lot of people do, but if you're not a writer by nature, if that's not something you enjoy or you don't have a lot of experience with, trying to jump in and immediately just write a book about your business or your life or whatever, and then go and try to publish it and market it, it's a lot to learn on top of all the internal work you're doing to make a good book. And so a lot of people end up just taking years to do it, or they don't do it at all. They just give up because they don't realize how difficult some of those obstacles, both internally and externally, will be. So that's number 2, is definitely trying to go out it alone. And I think the third one is they don't finish. And that's a number of reasons why. But a lot of people get so close to the end, and then they hit. It's usually, like I said, either an internal or external thing, obviously, but it's usually the internal one is, I'm afraid of what people are going to think of me. How is this going to hurt the relationship with my, insert person, spouse, mom, whoever, or they'll say, what if I put it out there and everybody disagrees with me, and then nobody wants to do business with me, and they're going to all know I'm a fraud, right? So there's all these like fears associated with it, and they just never finish. And so that's the biggest thing, is just see it through, put it out there, do the best you can, be authentic, and then as long as you did that, I always say your book's a success, right? What you put out there is what you put out there, and if however people receive it, you gotta let go of that. So those are the 3 biggest ones.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, James, I'm sure you have a story because you are helping other people to find their stories. What's your biggest failure in storytelling, because that's why the really pivoted point. What did you learn from it, and how did you recover from it?
Hmm. So it's funny enough. I guess my biggest failure was I fell into the same trap I advise other people not to do. And so the first couple iterations of my company, um, I tried to recreate what I thought people wanted, right? I tried to recreate what was already out there or what I thought I saw other people doing. And, oh, you got to do this or that. And instead, of doing what I always advise my authors to do, which is no, like just tell your story, just do it your way, your version of it. And then let professionals come in and help you shape it where to avoid the pitfalls, but be true to yourself. And so the first go out, I didn't do that. I just completely ignored all my own advice. And so, that was a huge mistake because it wasted a whole year, right? Where we were focused on the wrong thing. And so, coming back from that, recalibrating and just saying like, what do we really want to do? What do we really want to accomplish? And who do we really want to help? And then working backwards from there, saying, now, how would we do that? And then bringing in people that could support those areas, just like I do with my authors, where I'm not an expert. Like, I don't know anything about marketing. I don't know anything about these other things, right? So how do I get people to come in and help me do that, right? So again, basically the same three mistakes I just said, I made them all too. So that's just in a different context.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So let's switch the side. And what are your top three success secrets?
Yeah. So number one, I guess for me personally, has always been just being adaptable, right? Just being willing to change when you need to change, when something's not working, when new information or new opportunities show up, being able to kind of turn on a dime, without losing focus, right? So that's been really, really key, especially this last year as everything's been changing just for everybody. Being able to really be adaptable has been a huge, huge thing. And then I guess in addition to that, making sure that I've gotten a lot better, I think, over the last couple of years of surrounding myself with people that really have a growth mindset. And I don't think I realized earlier in my life how important that was, because the people I surround myself with have I guess I would say the people that I surround myself with have a direct impact on my daily life, to the point where I can see now a level of just productivity and a level of success that is much higher than I even dreamed possible when I was hanging out with a different group of people not even that long ago, like 5-10 years ago. What I thought was possible that is even conceivable in my mind was so much lower than it is now. And again, I give all the credit to the authors I work with, because they accomplish things that are so amazing. And then when you get to know them, you're like, these are just regular people that did extraordinary things. Well, maybe if I hang around them long enough, I can do extraordinary things too. And that's, I think, my biggest takeaway is realizing that everybody has extraordinary in them. It's just finding out what you're extraordinary at, or how that manifests. And that's a huge, huge change in my mental state, which has then changed my world, as it were.
So
Did that answer your question?
yeah, no, definitely. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and you are connected with them. You are learning from them. That's the key part. Listening, international listening. So you are welcome to share any bonus success secrets too, because I'm a great when it comes to learning from others. So
Yeah. So I guess the other one that has really, I guess it's kind of connected to that, is just being very authentic, right? I don't try to be somebody I'm not. I'm not. I'm just very honest about what I know, what I'm good at. I'm also very honest about what I don't know and what I'm not good at. And that, I think, that opens up an opportunity for people to help each other. And like I said, I'm very, very, very excited about the opportunity to learn from people. And that's one of the things I love most about helping people tell their stories is I feel like I kind of feel like a student sometimes that sits at the feet of masters, right? These are people, in a lot of cases, these are people that, even if they're not quote unquote successful in say business or in the financial sense, but maybe they've overcome trauma, or maybe they've grown spiritually, or maybe they've just survived a situation that seems impossible for me to even comprehend going through, much less thriving through. And so I take so much from that I think just being open to hearing people's story, even in your own life, whether it's professional or not, if you go into it with this student mentality, you can learn something from anybody that can improve your own life. I feel like I've never met anybody I haven't learned something from yet, even if it's just what not to do. You know what I mean?
In fact, what not to do is more important than to do your to-do list.
A lot of times it is. In fact, we have a book coming out in a couple of months that I'm really excited about, and the entire premise of the book is all the things that the author learned failing. They're failing their way up to a multi-million-dollar business, but they were like, there was all these false starts on the way because they did then, that's what led to their success, was all the failures, right? And then being able to learn from them. And now we can learn from them, so we don't have to repeat their failures, because we can take the lessons without the pain in some cases.
I would love to interview that author. Okay, that's my.
Yeah, I'll connect you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they want the introduction. They want the reach. So always happy to help. So James, we are about to wrap up.
All right.
How the Growth Hacking Secrets community people who are watching this now can support you?
Just yeah, I mean, if you or somebody you know has a story that you think the world needs to hear, I'd love to talk to them. Either, like I said, thestorysherpas.com is great if you just want, if you kind of want an easy way to start, low cost, low commitment, just to kind of get a feel for it. But if you have a goal that that you want to knock out, especially if it's a business goal, you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn as well. And I can share some other options. So maybe a little bit faster or more high touch, depending on what you need. But yeah, I really just want to help as many people as I can share their stories. So anybody has a story to share, or knows somebody that has a story to share, if you send them my way, that'd be great.
Wonderful. Folks, you are watching this now. We all have a story to share, even though you think I have no story to share, because that's also a story, So there's so much inside us, and we don't know. The person like James can help you to actually frame that one, to say to the world, because you can help somebody. You are really helping yourself to well define of yourself, better version. At the end of the day, once you go through the story part, at the end of the day, it does not matter somebody else read it or watch it. You will be a much better person because you are well defined now. You can actually share with your kids, grandkids, and in a family, everybody else and colleagues. Is that right?
100% correct. In fact, there's a certain percentage of people that write their manuscripts and they don't publish it. They just share it with their families, and they want their kids to understand what their life was like, right, growing up, or they want their spouse to understand why they are the way they are. Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's enough.
Yeah, that's enough. So everyone's success is their own definition, how they want to create the success.
Exactly.
So go ahead, and this is the story, sherpas.com. It's on your site. You can see it. Take a picture and spell it out correctly, and watch out and reach out to our guest, James Timberlake, on LinkedIn, or also through the website, thestorysherpas.com, thestorysherpas.com. Thank you so much, James. We are about to wrap up. I like to ask two more questions. One question is about your today's guest experience on the show. Here is the question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the Growth Hacking Secret Show?
Okay. It was a great experience. I really appreciate being on, and it was a wonderful conversation. I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about what I'm working on, and hopefully from this we'll get a few more stories out in the world that'll help even more people.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your kind words. Really appreciate it. James, what would you say as a final word?
Whether it's through me or through anyone else, or just on your own, make sure you tell your story. If not to anybody else, at least write it down for your own self. Tell your own self your story. There's no situation where that won't help you, if that makes sense.
Tell your story. That's my last word. So tell your story.
Tell your story.
Nothing else. Write a comment underneath after watching all this. You have been watching this whole. Tell your story. What's your story? So at least an outreach to James Timberlake, if you like to. Thank you so much, James, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.